Shut up, Audrey. You don't think Dad knows where he's going?
Thank you, Russ.
You're lost.
I mean, that's a classic scene right from the classic movie National Lampoon's Vacation. The Great American Road Trip is back big time this summer after families had to park at home last year due to the pandemic.
Now, before you pack up the family truckster, let's bring in Lauren Fix, a.k.a. the car coach. And Lauren, a lot no doubt has changed out there for many, but there's still some basics. So let's start off with what we should do first.
Okay, I was going to do this outside, but it is raining here in Buffalo, and thank goodness because we actually needed the rain. Had some wonderful weather, and so everyone's thinking about packing up their car and going. And I said, well, before you just jump in your car and go, which is what we're all thinking about, our vehicle's been sitting, it doesn't need anything. Well, you might be wrong. You got to check the battery first. If your vehicle's having trouble starting, you haven't driven it in a while, make sure you get your battery checked. If you don't know what you're doing, that's okay. A mechanic can do it, or pretty much any auto parts store will do it for free. Other things you need to check besides that is your fluids. There are 9 fluids in a car, and if you've got an electric vehicle, don't let anyone tell you, oh, there's no fluids, there's no maintenance. Yeah, no, you still have tires touching the ground, and they need to check that tire pressure once a month. And then anytime you hear a squeak or a noise or something in any vehicle that just doesn't sound right, find a technician to help you.
That is the first time that I thought of the fact that air is a fluid. Air is a fluid, right? We talk about it all the time in the sky, but in your in your tires, yes, air is a fluid. You check that. All right. What should we bring with us in the car, like emergency kit kind of thing?
Always an emergency kit, but here's some things to add. A tire inflation product, which you can buy anywhere, which includes a compressor. These you can buy at any mass merchandiser, and also a jump box. If you don't know how to jump a dead battery, a jump box is the smartest thing you can do. And all of those what ifs that come up, I cover that in my book, Lauren Fix's Guide to Loving Your Car.
All right. And of course, you know, a lot of folks use that trunk as kind of almost a second storage area. So you may be tempted to maybe get all that junk out of the trunk. But why may that be a good idea?
Right. You don't want to take out your spare, but you want to take out things you're not going to use. Some people use their trunk as storage. That's a bad idea for fuel economy reasons. But the smartest thing you can do is make sure to check that tire pressure in your spare, because that's a lot of times people forget that, including my neighbor who just had that happen over the weekend. And I'm like, you know, all the things that people forget. But carry a tire inflation product if you have no idea, if you have a disability or you don't know how to change a flat tire. You should come prepared with all those things. In an emergency kit, if you don't have one, you should have one.
Yeah, you know, I've noticed that some of the newer cars don't actually come with a spare tire.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not standard.
So
what if you do have an unexpected breakdown?
Well, you can contact any roadside service. Many new cars do have roadside service included with it. Or if you say, I need a mechanic, I'm in trouble, you can go to places like caradvise.com and get on your phone. You can book a mechanic and get it taken care of immediately. Hopefully that's not the case, because typically when you're out of town, you don't know who's good and who's not.
And of course, you know, after the pandemic, a lot of folks are getting back out on the roads, and it seems like, Lauren, that people have kind of forgotten how to drive, getting a little crazier. What are some ways to kind of avoid road rage, because it's crazy out there?
I've seen some really bad driving. It's like people forgot to practice, and I'm not sure if it's COVID or whatever it is, but you got to put your phone down. You know, if you get stressed out from other drivers, it's never worth it. Just let them go and do whatever it is they need to do. Don't be a part of their situation. If you get angry, just put on some calm music, talk to someone. But the worst thing you can do is yell, or anyone in the car giving any sort of hand gestures to the other person. Just fair warn everyone, especially children, in advance, because they'll do silly things.
Yeah, so tell us about the 2-hour rule and why it's really important for traveling with families.
We have a rule every 2 hours, get out of the car and stretch. Kids need to use the restroom if you're traveling with pets, which we'll be talking about at 11:20. We'll give you some tips on that as well. But it's just good to get out and stretch. It's not good for your back, for your hips, for sitting that long.
Yeah. All right.
Makes sense.
Lauren Fix, the car coach, always good to have you. I'm so glad you're coming back again, too, next hour. You'll have more great advice, including great ways to save on gas and trips on traveling with our furry family members.
I can't forget about them. They're all part of the family, right? Now, before you pack up the family truckster, let's go ahead and bring in Lauren Fix, a.k.a. the car coach. And Lauren, you've got some great hacks for us here on the road. I see you've got a nice little furry friend for us as well. And
so cute.
A lot of other families will be taking their furry friends as well along for that ride. What do you need to know, and what do folks need to know about traveling with their pets?
This is Holly, our Yorkshire Terrier, in case anybody wonders. Going with your pets, we did do that. During Thanksgiving, we headed from Buffalo to Florida, and we have a dog safety seat. You can buy these online. We had her in that because it's the safest place to be. You don't want to hold your dog, because if there's an accident, airbags deploy. And the best place for an animal to be is either crated or in a child, like a child safety seat. It's a dog seat. It's a child to me.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. And I worry about that traveling with my my sister's dog. Like she wants to sit in your lap, right? But it's got to be a safer place
Right.
for her to be. All right. How about hacks for saving on things like gas? Because gas has really shot up this summer.
We used gasbuddy.com. It's also an app. And it was good when we had the fuel shortage because what we were able to do is see who had diesel. We have a diesel SUV, but whether you had gas or not, there was a lot of places that didn't. And it was able to tell us that. You can also use other apps that are out there, but that seems to be the leading app right now.
And you mentioned that being a good app for finding gas. What are some of the other best road trip apps that are around? I'm sure there are a ton of them.
Oh my gosh, one of the best ones we found, and it does drain a lot of phone power, but it does work the best, is Waze. That's W-A-Z-E. I might be owned by Google, but what's interesting about it is you can plug it in through your phone and it'll tell you where there's road construction. It'll tell you if there's an animal on the side of the road. It'll tell you if there's a car on the side of the road. It gives you a lot of great information. It saved us a lot of time when you have to reroute. So it'll actually offer you the reroutes. You can do that yourself. You can also use SiriusXM has a travel link as well. So it gives you some options.
Oh, those are all great advice. Now, what about fun places to stop along the way? What's a good way to find them?
Well, you can use Yelp, but the problem is sometimes you don't know how deep it is off of the expressway. My husband has this rule. I want to get off, I want to eat, I want to get back on. So one of the things you can, he is very frustrated with that. So we try to look ahead on the map and say, hey, we're going to need fuel in, X amount of time. So doing a little basic math. And then at that time, what's right there off the exits? And I use an Apple phone, so I check Apple Maps, and I just try to find the closest place to get on and off. Some of the fast food chains are great, but they can also get very expensive. So we always bring our own food.
Yeah.
Speaking of food, I think a lot of us experience being on the road and, you get a little drowsy. So what are some foods that could be used to maybe keep us awake on that long drive?
Well, number one thing I always carry with me, you're going to laugh, it is pork rinds. I love pork rinds. These will keep you awake. When you're crunching them, they keep your brain awake. I'm not sure what's in them. If you're vegan and you go, I don't do pork rinds, that's fine. I have these seeded crackers you can also eat. It's another option. But as far as food, that's one thing. Anything that's crunchy, anything when you're chewing it, your brain's operating. And then, of course, there's always the 5-hour energies, and which I use both of them. And there's some other products. If you don't like those, this is the Uptime. But there's other products you can buy that will keep you awake. And then as far as food and snacks, sometimes you're just eating junk food. Try to find things that, I always carry these protein bars. They're great to have, and I always have one in my bag anyhow, just in case, because I got stuck in airports before where no food options are available. At least you have something to eat.
Yeah, or no healthy food options. I'm so glad you said that you like to pack your own food, because I'm always trying to convince my family to do that. It saves time.
Right.
You guys want to save all the time, but also that,
and money.
And money too.
Oh, well, great stuff indeed. I never would have thought about pork rinds, that's for sure. But thanks so much for that.